My name is Lindsay, and for the last 630 days, I have been traveling the world full-time with my fiancé Wyatt. At the start of this journey, I was really seeking outward experiences, and I wanted to see as many new countries as possible. I felt like if I could just see and do more on the outside, I would find more happiness and contentment within myself. But as time has gone on, I've started to realize that no matter how many new places I go, on the inside, I still feel the same. It seems that whatever I'm searching for out here won't actually come from out here at all. It's not a new destination that will give me what I'm looking for. I've decided to try a new approach. I have stopped running from place to place just to add more stamps to my passport. Instead, I have slowed down. I'm going to stay put longer to focus on my inner world. That's why I've come here, to a Buddhist meditation center in rural South Korea, to volunteer my time and to live simply. Most mornings here I start with a meditation in the main temple from 5 until 6 a.m. When I'm by myself, meditating for an hour seems so long, and it's so difficult for me to actually sit there for a full hour. If I'm doing it by myself, then my mind will always present some sort of convincing excuse to get up early. But in a formal setting like this, or like when we were at our Vipassana course in Thailand, I find it so much easier to sit for the whole length of time. And I think it's because of the space and the other people around me who are meditating as well. For example, here, this temple is only used for meditation, and at the same time as me, there's like 20 monks meditating. So they create this energy, this atmosphere of stillness, and I can just sort of like tap into it and still my mind a lot easier. After morning meditation is breakfast. Breakfast in Asia is pretty different from North American breakfast. There isn't really separate designated breakfast foods. They kind of just have what they would have for lunch or dinner. Noodles, rice, veggies, kimchi. However, I always just have some fruit and bread with jam. The homemade apple jam here is amazing. Meals at the meditation center are meant to be taken in silence. That's why Wyatt and I aren't talking to each other at all. Here's the actual clip audio. After breakfast is when we start our volunteer work. This can really be anything, but is typically some sort of maintenance or gardening. So my morning work for today has just been sweeping / shoveling / hosing off this road behind me because it was completely covered in dirt and now they're trying to clear it off. One of my personal favorites is working in the apple orchard. It feels so good to be out under the sun, surrounded by views of beautiful mountains, tending the trees, showing them love and attention. There's nothing more simple than this. 2 feet planted firmly on the ground and my head in the leaves. Usually, Wyatt and I don't get to be together on our tasks, as they tend to give him more physically demanding jobs. But once in a while, we do get lucky.
Aww.
Even if we're not together though, I'm never alone. There are many other volunteers here from all over the world, all of whom I can now safely call my friends. It really adds to the experience to have them here.
Eat it, Michael.
Much food.
The wall.
That one I can really taste the honey.
Other than of course being travelers, the one thing we all have in common is that we found this place through a website called Workaway.
How can you afford to travel the world full-time as nomads?
This is probably the most common question that Lindsay and I get asked in our comment section and by people considering this lifestyle.
One of the answers is workaway.info. This website, built by travelers for travelers, serves as a space where travelers can connect with hosts in more than 170 countries worldwide.
A connection means exchanging 25 hours of weekly volunteering for food and board.
Why do you travel with Workaway?
It's great for your own budget.
First, it was because I wanted to save money.
Saving money for a month helps.
But now it's more about like meeting people.
With Workaway family or like a group that hosts you and gives you work, then you really get to know the people and interact with them daily.
I wanted this one specifically to have a month in a meditation center.
I guess I wanted to enjoy the temple and learn meditation here.
I wanted to practice Korean because I was learning it, and also to learn how to meditate.
Some of our deepest connections and most memorable experiences from our years on the road so far have been thanks to workaway.info.
Use our link in the description when signing up on Workaway to get 3 months for free.
Living simply means doing things slowly.
So you're basically gonna take that white bowl.
Is that why these are in my bathroom? I have one of these in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Now fill it with water from the big metal bowl. Then you put your item in there and get it all wet. Very good.
You put it across this?
Yeah, put it on the board now. And then this is the soap you use right there.
So would I like
Just
this?
rub it on, soap it up. And then you grab that white brush that's behind our bag. And you brush it against the board until it's all clean. You can use either.
In my life so far, I've tended to try and do as many things as possible, all at once. Creating long to-do lists and smashing them out in a day by constantly jumping from task to task. That technically does work, and I do accomplish all the small things that need to be done, but I always end up feeling scattered by the end of this. My energy is in so many places, and each task only got a tiny little sliver of it. So to me, living simply is just doing less, but giving more to the few things that you do. Like this laundry. It's one of only a couple of things we're doing today, and we're taking our time with it, not rushing to get to the end so we can then go and do something else. After lunch is a couple more hours of volunteering. However, today, and every day going forward, I'm going to do something other than maintenance and garden work. Before Wyatt and I left home to travel, I used to sew. In fact, after university, it was my job. Then I started my own business selling mostly underwear. And then I made a YouTube channel dedicated to more experimental projects. As it turns out, the meditation center has a sewing room and materials to create 25 vests that meditation participants will wear in the winter to signify what they're doing there. The only other thing they needed was someone who knows a bit about making clothes.
10 years ago, when I chose to leave the small town I grew up in and move to downtown Toronto and attend fashion school,
I never would have imagined that the skills I learned there, like how to make this back facing, I would be using 10 years later in a Buddhist meditation center in South Korea. Like, I never would have believed that in a million years if you'd told me. But that's kind of the beauty of life, isn't it? Is that like you don't really ever know what's gonna happen and where it's gonna take you, and it's really beautiful. All the pattern pieces are done. So now what I'm gonna do is open this huge roll of fabric and cut one piece only, like one vest. I'm gonna sew the vest and I'm gonna make sure that it's exactly the way I want it to be before we go ahead and cut 25. I'm back down in the sewing room now, and the next step is going to be finishing some of the raw edges on the fabric with the serger. Alright, here we are. Looks pretty good. I think it's too big, like the sizing needs to be smaller, but otherwise, I'm pretty happy with it. This is officially the first thing I've made since leaving home.
Every day here at the meditation center, I've been teaching from 4 to 5. Some bodies new to yoga, some bodies have experience, but I've gotten good feedback and I'm really enjoying teaching here.
Wyatt's yoga class is usually followed by a short evening meditation in the smaller temple. This has been what my day looks like every day, living at a Buddhist meditation center in South Korea. My biggest lesson from being here and experimenting with slowing down is that I don't need to force myself to do things I don't enjoy. The things I love, like cooking, sewing, gardening, and yoga, aren't just for the time and energy I have left each day. They can be what I do every day, and that is living. I can just do what I feel passionate about and enjoy my life. I just needed to slow down, stop forcing, and reconnect with who I am and what I love. Finding true joy and peace, it turns out, is an inner endeavor.
Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.